Hello, Local 304. I know it's been a couple of weeks since we did one of these YouTube videos. Obviously, holidays, busy, Mid-America Labor Management Conference, which, by the way, was spectacular. Sure would like to get more people involved in attending that conference. That is probably one of the best that we attend based on everything that we do. Great presentations on safety, on federal mediation, on the NLRB, all kinds of tools of everyday use. We did a mock arbitration. We did an arbitration panel that was really entertaining because asking the same set of facts to three different arbitrators and letting them rule on it is just eye-opening that their answers will be all over the board. And we've always said that whenever we have a grievance going into arbitration, that it's as good as a coin flip because it depends on how you present the information, how they value your demeanor, and then of course how they accept the information. So really interesting and eye-opening and entertaining. I'll tell you, on the safety side, had a presentation on confined-space entry that really was all about tiger cages, but using that analogy then of where's the tiger. And so it makes you think, whether you're working on a pole, where's the hazard there on the pole that you're not thinking about? Whether you're working out in the street doing gas work or even working in an office, where's the tiger? What's about to get you that you can't see? So very, very good information. Along the line of safety, I know it's really hot out there, and so please take care of yourself. Make sure that you're hydrating and getting in cool whenever you need to. And when it comes to these types of events, you're in charge of your safety, and you need to make sure you're maintaining that. So we did have a fatality with Ashland week before last down in Wichita. Still under investigation, so I don't have a lot to add. Just spoke briefly with the OSHA investigator, and there'll be more interviews to come. So again, I urge all of you to make sure you're following all the safety rules, policies, and procedures, and taking care of yourself out there. Next week, we're going to have 45 new stewards trained. So pretty exciting times for Local 304, both Monday in Topeka and then Wednesday out in Great Bend. So really looking forward to that and giving those stewards the tools to be successful out there. I know you guys know this, but the stewards are a arm of the business manager. Since I can't be everywhere, I have stewards everywhere. So it's important that they understand that they need to be maintaining the philosophy of this hall and work directly for me. So anxious for that to happen. Now on Tuesday, we have the line clearance negotiations. As you know, we've had a couple of no votes go out, and so we're going back to the table again. So it's going to be very important that we hit some of the members' targets. I appreciate the input we've been getting. David, excuse me, David's been going around talking to everybody at show-ups and filling out surveys, and I appreciate everybody's input. I think that the next time we vote, we'll do it at a meeting. We'll have several meetings throughout the state so that we can get more information out and more information back. So be looking for that. I'm sure that you've all heard that Mark McCubbin is leaving us. He got a job opportunity with Southwest, very exciting opportunity. Mark's always been very dedicated to the training of new apprentices, the next generation of linemen. Mark's done a lot of work here in the hall. We're really going to miss him. Chris Hubel has been appointed now to take his place, and so Chris starts Monday the 22nd, so he can get a couple weeks with Mark. Mark's last day here in the office will be August the 2nd. So watch our Facebook page, because we'll put something out on there about a little soiree, if you will, to send Mark off. So be looking for that. Looking forward to Chris. Chris has got a good background with Southwest, sitting on the subcommittee. Came up through the Southwest Line Apprenticeship and been working out there a number of years, and so I got a lot of confidence that Mark's going to be, that Chris is going to be very good in Mark's position. So really looking forward to the change in guard, if you will. We're going to miss Mark. As a small organization, we all rely on one another to get everything done, and sometimes you don't even know what everybody's doing until they're not doing it anymore. So again, really appreciate everything Mark's done for our local union, and looking forward to Chris coming in. So changing guard. Let's talk about Westar a little bit. So we're still dealing with Cigna issues. I've done an information request on denied claims report so we can see what's going on in comparison to what we had in the past, and I still need you guys to keep this office informed. I know we're still dealing with a lot of the same issues, whether it's network issues on behavioral health and chiropractic and CPAP machines. We still need to know all that stuff's going on. So I know that there's been some issues with MRIs, and I know we've talked about this in the last several videos. So a lot more doctor intervention needs to be done whenever those requests for treatment are being denied. Interestingly enough, I just talked to a brother the other day that was telling me about a dental bill that he had that had some medical procedures in it, and so wondered if it had gotten the claim was pretty high, and so I told him to look at that explanation of benefits and see what claims were denied, because it could be associated again with Cigna. So just need to be paying attention to those things and keep the office informed. You know, Cigna issues at ibw304.org is the email that you can use to give us those issues. Two important things. One, work with your doctor, so whenever they are denying claims saying it's not medically necessary, or tests are being denied because they say it's not medically necessary, you need to go ahead and be pushing for that so that we can get that intervention that it takes to make that happen. I know doctors are busy and they don't want to be involved in that, but it's your health, and that's important that you take care of it the right way. And then secondly, if you run into those situations, then you need to be calling both Cigna and that HR1 call in order to get those issues addressed, along with emailing us. 401k, the company has done an RFP out through a consultant. Westar Energy, I should say, has done an RFP through a consultant organization, looked at changing the 401k record keeper, and after the dust settled, after the completion of the RFP, Empower is the one that they're going to be using. So going away from Vanguard to Empower. Wolf Creek had Fidelity, I believe, and they're going to go to Empower, and then KCPL had Empower. So that's going to put about $1 billion into the assets of Empower from the Evergy Corporation. So I know that there's a lot of need for information, and so I'm working with the company to try to put together some kind of communication committee, so we make sure we're communicating in and out. I know that we all want to make sure we don't develop another Cigna. So please contact the office if you're interested in or know somebody that should be a part of that. I really like somebody that's acclimated to the numbers and understands the different plans and policies that are out there, so we can have a meeting of the minds with the company to make sure we're hitting those targets. So contact the office. Still doing the impact bargaining on safety stuff. We did take a break this last week and let the business managers of all the locals get together and kind of assess where we're at and try to make a plan for direction. Right now, every one of these things has a different implication depending on what local union's involved, and so it's important that we're all on the same page going in, so not dividing and conquering. Today, held our open issues meeting with Labor Relations with Westar, looking to bring some of those grievances out of abeyance that we had paused while we were negotiating, and now that we're done with that, we're looking at which ones need to be acted on, and so we're getting that list put together. Speaking of the contract, it's in the signature phase, so waiting on the company's Terry Basham to get his signature on there so we can complete that process of getting that book printed. So I know you're anxious to get books, and we're anxious to get them out to you, so working towards that end. A little bit of news with Kansas Gas. Got some reports from the information center. You know, for years we've been dealing with some pretty high unscheduled absences, and Abby Fry seems to be doing a real good job over there, really bringing some respect back into the workplace, and the morale is improving, and that shows in attendance. We're actually up over 50% better than what we were a year ago. So congratulations to them, and keep up the good work. I like to think that Code of Excellence has a lot to do with that. I appointed a new Code of Excellence steward. Jenna Caberline, and we did some training, some COE training, steward training the other day, and gave them some more tools to be able to use to help keep that place moving forward and make sure that we are successful in labor and the company is successful in keeping that call center here in Kansas. So good stuff happening over there. Keep up the good work, guys. Lots of negotiations going on around the state. Flint Hills, Gators got dates and starting that negotiations. And the opening letter went out to Lion Coffee and Radiant. As you know, they're merging together into a new REA called Four Rivers. And so we've already got dates on the schedule to start meeting with them. So anxious to see how we can bring those two agreements together and hopefully the best of both worlds for everyone involved in that. So I know I've told you this before, man. Negotiations is the best time to be a union member because you actually have the ability to sit down and have a voice in your wages and working conditions. I know this is tough because we don't always get everything that we want. Sometimes we set our expectations pretty high. Again, a wise union rep told me one time that your true look at whether or not you were successful in negotiations is that next contract. So it's in the rearview mirror, so you know what the economy did. If you hit the working conditions right and you don't have grievances, then you know you had successful negotiations. Sometimes it takes 3 years in order to know that. So. Also, north of Grumman, technical services over at the depot side of the old Forbes Air Force Base. We got our information request out on that and looking to start that negotiations hopefully the end of August or so. Excuse me, the end of September. First September, end of August, sometime around there. We have sunflower negotiations going on in the midpoint of August. So. Like I say, lots of negotiations going on across the state. I want to extend a thank you to all the members that attend their local and unit meetings. That's really what it takes for this local union to be successful is communication. Right now there's an awful lot going on out there that's trying to make unions not be successful, and so in order for us to be successful, it's going to take a combined effort of all of us. When you look at some of the recent National Labor Relations Board rulings, rolling back a lot of the good rulings that we got out of the past administration, and so we're really going to have to be paying attention and making sure that we're keeping our members enthused, energized, and in communication so that we're moving as one. So again, thank you for your attendance and communication. At the last local meeting, we were talking about how you can change jobs, and the company, of course, knows that you changed that job, and you may not tell us, and so we don't find out about it until your dues comes in, and we see a different amount, and then we have to start looking at it and saying, "Hey, what happened here?" And you'd be surprised how many times after that report is ran on the dues, then we're calling around to see what changed, and why did Joe Smith's dues drop off. What happened to Joe Smith? And we find out he retired or bid to a different job, an uncovered position. So please stay in communication with us regarding those things. Shift differential. It's another issue that you bid a different shift, and sometimes those are internal postings, and so I don't see them. I get the external postings sent to me, and I get the external job award on covered positions, but I don't see those interdepartmental or local bids. So keep us informed if your wages change based on shift differential, then that would explain the change in the dues dollars. So along the same line of dues, we've talked many times about the difference between A members and BA members, and a BA member is one that pays the per capita plus the $3 and the hour's wage. And for that, they get the benefit of having their voice. An A member is one that doubles the per capita, still pays the $3 and the hour's wage, and for that they get a pension benefit fund worth $4.50 a month for every year of continuous A membership, and a death benefit, $6,250, or in the case of an accidental death, it doubles. So that's what I want to tell you is that one of the things that we've been bad about is making sure we get that death benefit form filled out. So those are going to be available at your unit meetings and local meetings, so you can make sure that if you are an A member, that you do have a benefit designated, beneficiary designated, and if not, we can get that form, help you get that form filled out. Last thing I'll talk about again is organizing. David still going around very active in doing internal organizing, encouraging line clearance tree trimming. We still have a big issue there with the line clearance contractors working across the Missouri line, and so you'll fall off our dues list, and we don't know what happened to you. And a couple months later, you come back, or even worse, you'll get a new job, a new membership application out of a different local. So again, stay in communication with us, but help David know where everybody's at too, so we can keep hands on everybody. So and then David also has some exterior targets that he's working on too, and gaining some momentum there. The IBEW has a new tool to use for making house calls and plugging in addresses, and so we're excited about that and looking forward to moving this local union forward. September 1 is when 225 comes over, so welcome. We will be in one of these Google videos, we'll be talking about how much we appreciate having those new brothers and sisters as part of our local. So again, take care of yourself, be careful out there in the heat, and we'll talk to you next week.